am Kate Hahn with TV Guide Magazine and TV Insider, and we are speaking with the cast of Tiny Beautiful Things.
It's just an administrative leave pending an investigation.
You're being investigated.
Internally. Okay, none of this is my fault. None of it.
None of this is your fault.
Beverly loved having me there.
The Alzheimer's one?
She just didn't know you're not supposed to wear underwear to bed. It's like we were both just helping each other through a tough time.
You know, you keep asking me, what's the plan? Right, what's the plan? What's happening? And I'm like, what is happening? What's happening, Claire? I mean, am I gonna see your mugshot on the 11 o'clock news? And former healthcare employee charged with elder assault? I mean, Jesus, who are you?
Kathryn Hahn and Quentin Plair, you play Claire and Danny, whose marriage is in trouble. And Kathryn, that's because your character Claire is really haunted by her past, and there's some things she can't get past. So can you talk about how that's contributing to the problems in her life now?
Well, first, I just want to say, I just heard your name was Kate Hahn, and I just want to know if we're long lost relatives. I can't, I have a hard time moving past that, but it's nice to finally meet you. We should do our DNA.
We should.
But, Claire Pierce, who I play in Tiny Beautiful Things, her mother, her beloved, light of her life, foundation, her rock, her everything, every single thing, passed away from cancer when she was 21, just shy of her graduating college, just shy of her mother graduating college. And it kind of propelled her into another life's path that she had, of course, never had anticipated. And like so many humans, so many humans, grief has been a roiling engine in her for the rest of her life since then, and the methods of coping with that grief have become more and more untenable, and have become it's now at kind of a boiling point. Like, things that had been working for her to manage that grief are simply no longer working, and this is now becoming an issue for her in her marriage that had is nourishing and beautiful and all of those things, but she's realizing that those things in her past that she had never dealt with are now coming out in this beautiful relationship, and it's hard for her to stop that tsunami. It's coming.
Right, and these two have been married for a long time. Quentin, they got married because they were high school sweethearts, and she got pregnant, so they both gave up a lot.
Yeah.
It's a big turning point in their lives. And is that still haunting your character as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's one of the core things that haunts him as far as the relationship goes, that and the fact that, he didn't wasn't a success in what he got to go after, and so I think the thing is, yes, they both gave up things, but she gave up a lot more than he had to. He was still allowed to pursue the music career, go after it, and it didn't work. And so, when you're the one who's allowed to go after your dreams and you don't follow through on that, especially, at least from my point of view, being a male, thinking of yourself wanting to be a provider in a sense, and having that all flipped on its head, it's going to eat at you, to have the person that you love the most give up something that she truly loves for you to go after what you love and not make it. You just don't want to let people down. You don't want to let the people down that are closest to you. And when you let them down and they made sacrifices for you, it feels that much worse. I've got some things in my own personal life that I can draw from with that very easily, where I feel like I let people that really love me and really sacrifice for me, I let them down, Yeah, definitely. And it was like personal reasons, that I think things got in the way, whether it was me being lazy or not. So all those things were going through my head about, like, as Danny, what did I do wrong that I didn't make it? And I feel like that kind of self-doubt and self-hate, it kind of just falls up into you, and it grinds up, and then, explodes in other ways and you take it out on other people when it's really shit that you need to deal with yourself. So yeah.
It's a very, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of emotion. Kathryn, was there anything that you brought from yourself to this role?
Always. I mean, everything I've ever do as a performer has to be filtered through this thing. So it's always inevitably going to be, you know, you bring something, it brings something to you, you know, and you always walk out of any experience transformed in some way or another. Like something's gonna happen unless you're like, ugh, you know. So of course it's the people you meet, it's who you work with, it's what the thing itself is. So absolutely, yeah. I mean, I definitely found especially after reading the pilot, I definitely found myself very much seeing myself in Claire's being at the age that she was and still feeling a sense of like, who am I? And I feel like a lot of, you know, society or expects humans, women especially, to have it down, and that the idea that it's an ever evolving thing that we still can be figuring it out is like something that, you know, when I was young, I certainly thought I'd have it to, you know, I'd know who I was. So like, I think that's something that is like that I could bring to it, you know.
Well,
still figuring it out.
Yeah, well, you know, maybe had the Kathryn Hahns known each other at a younger age, we could have answered some of those questions.